Well, I think I'm gonna be a standard, if it works. Thank you for coming, and sorry for my English. I try to do my best. Maybe I say something strange, but well, you could ask later. I will do a small introduction of the project about me, and then what is behind the images that we have here, and some of that there are in the book. And at the end, I like a lot the questions. There usually appears things more interesting than the classical things that I used to say in the talk. Okay? So, where begins that? Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And everything begins, I was all my life passionate by nature, and I would be working in photography, especially in fashion advertisement, but always as assistant and retoucher. I had never have been a photographer, always helping other people to take better pictures. So I always have this wish to make my own personal project. And well, it takes a while to know what project do. If some of you are photographers, you know that it's not an easy thing. And I realized that to do a personal project, it's important to make it about something that you are special or you could talk about. And in my case, it was the weirdo between my friends that it's always looking which birds are, about the paw prints that are. And one thing that was particularly interesting to me, it was, I always invite at times when people could go on a place and discover new species, come back from other countries with new minerals, the new animals, this feeling of new things, of discover. And nowadays it's really difficult if you are not a super scientist that go to Papua or remote places to discover species. So I realized that maybe if I could not discover a species, what if I see things that are between us in a different way, in a new way. So one day watching a paw print, I think about myself, what kind of track will leave the birds in the sky that was possible, no? So imagine that every different type of birds do different type of flights, so the shape will be different. So the first thing that I do is the first thing that you need to do when you have an idea is research if somebody have done before. And magically, it's not done. Usually it's done and really well done and you get depressed for a few days, but you need to move on. But no, in this case, nobody have done. So cool. Okay, on how to do it. Because to do this, with the important, what we are looking at several seconds into a single image. Traditionally in photography, it's a long exposure. But in this case, long exposure doesn't work because what you will achieve is the opposite, delete the birds from the sky. So it's not the solution. So I pretty much quickly, thanks to my background in post-production and knowledge in photography, that what I need to do is take many pictures per second and stitch all this picture into a single image. Which camera takes a lot of pictures per second? No, the cinema cameras take at least, the regular is 24, 30, but in a slow motion, 60 frames per second. But with 60 frames per second, I could achieve what I wish. For me, was important that between one image and the other, it's overlap. So you lose the shape of the bird. Because I don't want to show birds in flight. I want to show flights. So what you are seeing, it's flight. It's a movement. You are watching a movement in a so it's not blurred, in a clear way. So in this way, so you not connect in a rational part of your brain trying to understand how is the position of the bird, the mechanism of the flight. In this way, suddenly appears new organic shapes. And that's what I wish, to see new things, to see this reality in another way. It's something that it's there, but it's just changing the perception of time. So when I discovered how to do that, and now begins my work that for me I'm feeling like a curator that is looking for this different type of flights or choreography that make the birds and make it visible. So I not try to take as many species as possible. It's not the case. The thing is try to show the most different behaviors and the most different shapes that appears with the different type of flights. So for example, what we have here around, no? Well, let's begin for the beginning. The most simple shape, it's one bird crossing the frame, flapping the wings. So when a bird flies, moving the wings, what appears, it's a wave. Now you understand, because go up and down, and it's a wave. So this is the most basic shape in this project. When you move away, the shapes, the wave shape disappears, and you see more the trajectory and less the wave. But why in some of them there are no wave, like this one? Yeah, because they are not moving the wings, and they are gliding. So this picture, it's a group of vultures using the hot thermal current to rise up until they are in the enough altitude, and for example, the three of them decide that, okay, it's enough, I fly away. So, so after that, thanks to my knowledge of ornithology, about birds, and because I have ornithologist friends, I could go to these different type of flights, no? For example, here is also so simple. What do some hawks when they fly? They do these circles, no? And it's that, just a hawk. All the species are from Europe, so I don't know the name in English. Some of them yes, some others. And here, it's one of the type of birds, they're the same as this one, that I also like to work a lot, because they are ravens. And ravens is proof by a scientist that it's a few animals that play. So the type of flight that they do, it's not to go to one point to another. It's not only transportation. It's just this. It's for fun, something. Sometimes it's some territorial thing. In this case, there are only two individuals here. One begin here, another here, and they do this, and they fly away together. In this case, there is a hill with a little wind in this direction, so they do these loops and these turnarounds. One interesting thing, an extra layer of the project, in some are more obvious than in others, maybe in this exhibition there are, no? That sometimes you see better the bird, and sometimes it's completely solid. What means when there are more space between one and another? That the bird is faster. So you can see the speed of the flight. Sometimes when they are gliding or when they are turning around, here it's more slow. And here is doing a fast flight like this. Sometimes it's so fast that it's not enough with 60 frames per second. So sometimes I need another type of camera that allows me. For example, it happened here, it's really clear. Sorry. This is an example, the one usually I don't like, but in this case, I like to break my own rules, no? This is Illes Medes. It's a natural park in Costa Brava, in Catalonia, where it's really famous to dive. And many people come here to diving every day, and nobody noticed there is a huge colony of alpine swift nesting and sleeping inside this cave. This is Calcarean rocks. It's full of caves up and down the water. And here, because they are so fast, it's not enough with 60 frames per second to overlap. So I like to have one of these pictures in the exhibition because, as you see, I don't like to put levels. All the information is apart, but because if you put levels, it could become something almost like natural history. So it could be really descriptive, and it's not the goal. For people more close to nature, the important will be which species are it, which are the behavior. But for me, the big difference between documentary photography and artistic photography is documentary photography have a purpose, it's document. So there are only one way to read this picture. No? Because you are showing a world, you are showing a birth. a wedding, whatever, no? And it's there are a purpose that you read this picture in one way. In my case, I wish to be that it's open. So if I put a level, for me, the only read is that it has a bird, and the importance of this is the bird and the behavior of this bird, and it's not the case, no? What I have been saying is I like to put one of these because it's possible that people go inside the exhibition and don't know nothing about where is. And it's beautiful when it happens, because it's not happen often to be in front of the image that you don't know where it is, and you need to ask yourself what you're watching. And after it's obvious that there are birds, because it's in the sky, but I have been in many exhibitions that people really struggle to know what it is. And it's fun because sometimes childs know before the answer than the adults, no? So when people could find the solution here, no? That here it's pretty clear that there are birds. So continue with what is behind. One of my favorite birds is starlings, because obviously, one of the most famous group flights are these huge clouds of birds that it's called in English, you call it murmuration, no? This mesmerizing dance. And this dance only happen in winter when they get together in bigger groups. During the day, often they are eating in olive trees fields, but in the afternoon, when the sun goes down, they join in bigger groups. Doing this during the path to the places when they are going to sleep, sometimes it happens that these groups of starlings stop in trees. And this is a small project inside the project when they stop in trees and live at the same time, no? It's what this happens. Sometimes there are years that I could not take any one of these pictures because there are really specific conditions, no? There are no clouds, trees without leaf, many of them living at the same time. And one thing about my project, I need to take the picture on tripod, and when I begin to record, I could not move the camera. If not, I will change the movement. So what happens 90% of the times is that the birds are here and go in there. So I have nothing. Or goes here, and it's not a great picture, but this never happens. That they turn around and flies towards you, no? So, well. And, well, you can see the book later. So, and what happens, where are going these birds? So starlings used to like to go or in cities or in wetlands because they feel safe there. And before goes to the wetland or the trees in the city, they fly in groups. But not in this way. This happens only when a hawk comes and attacks them. So it's a reaction to the hawk. In fact, in this picture, you could see the hawk here, no? Carving this sculpture, no? This shape. So I like it because it's the interaction. And in the other pictures, this one, the first in vertical, the other one, this one is also, and the first one, in this exhibition there are several, the hawk is around. Maybe it's just outside of the frame. In the book you can see another examples where the hawk is. And another bird that I love, and it's the reason that also I come here, and thanks of the gallery that have changed the dates of the exhibition to match with where the box swift are. So these days I'm here more days to work with this amazing spectacle that you have here that is unique in the world, no? And it's outside of here nobody knows. It's I hope not because of my fault. It will be many people, buses coming here. No, I don't think so. But I'm enjoying a lot these days with this. Yeah, I think it probably means my next exhibitions. I hope I will have one picture from here. But there are swift on Europe also, and it's also an amazing bird because, you know, it's super aerodynamic, so aerodynamic. This is the common swift, the apus apus, that this one sleep in the air. Some of them, that the alpine, sleep in the rocks, or like the bowl swift that sleep in the chimney, but in this case, they sleep just flying. It's the only species that just first one part of the brain another, and they raise up until 2,000-3,000 meters. Sorry, meters, but well, you understand me. This one, it's a V formation of cranes flying over me, so it's not a wave because it's from above, pretty much above. This one, it's a group of kites. It's a type of eagle that I went to the Strait of Gibraltar, south of Spain, in Tarifa, and there now it's been one of the hotspots for bird migration because it's like a bottleneck, and there are hundreds of them during several months. And this is one of them that go in groups. And what happens when I arrive there, there are many wind. And what happens with the wind is that make a kind of fog in the sea that make not possible to see Africa. If not, Africa it's like in front. It looks really close. And this type of bird, like another one, like the storks, they are not brave to cross if they don't see the other side. So the migration have stopped. And what I discovered is all of these hundreds of eagles are roasted in a field in the floor, and every morning they rise up and they fly towards the wind. And that's the reason that this strange pattern, almost like a Pollock paint, no? Because they are facing the wind, going up, down, and this is this random movement, no? That it's not usual in a bird, because usually birds flies in a direction, no? Well, this is, I think I make a pretty much this. So yes, yeah. So this project begins in 2015. When I get the idea, like 3 years before, but I was busy. I have not the right camera to do that. So I was really lucky that since the beginning the project was well published, and became my full-time work. So I could develop that thanks to people who have buy me prints during all that time. So I have been working only in birds the first 8 years, and it was tempting to apply this technique to everything, no? For example, to balloons, to every type of sport. Now somebody have played in the Olympics. You have seen it became quite popular. It was really well done. But if I did that, I will become this technician, no? I will be a slave of my own technique. And I come from being a technician in photography, so I was be careful because it will being a technician again. It was not my purpose. So don't allow me to apply this to everything. But years later, I say, okay, but maybe not to everything, but it makes no sense to only apply in birds. Why not in other type of natural movement that are not birds? So, and because my purpose, I realized later, and it's not something rational in the past, then I always be fascinated because this cabinet of curiosities, no? You know, when people in the past, when scientists collect these different types of things, sometimes they don't know, and they put in a room that is like a room of dreams. I wish to do my own cabinet curiosity. So I have the birds, and then after, I decide to do with insects. And in the beginning, I do the same way. I go to a field, I record the insects, but it was not working because I was missing something. The insects are so special and sometimes look similar with the birds. So I realized that what I need to do is film it really close. And sometimes what happens with insects that they are in the field, it's plenty of of plants behind this tract. For me, here in this project, the sky is like a canvas, and it's why it looks like a paint, no? And I try go only when there are no clouds, when it's clear behind. So with insects was impossible to do that. So one day, watching in Instagram, I see an amazing footage of a super slow motion of insect jumping. And it's created by Adrian Smith, that is an entomologist of the Museum of North Carolina. So I thought, oh, I need to create this footage. But wait, I need to take insects. How I take insects? I will kill it because I'm a disaster. I need a super slow motion camera that costs 100,000 euros, no, a Phantom. So I decided to, something that is difficult when you have been photographer, it's make a collaboration. I write Adrian, and he agrees that he will record the footage, and I will do the post-production and the direction of the project. At the beginning, it's quite, okay, I have not recorded that, but it's fine. The important is the idea, the result. So I make this within 2 years ago. This past April, the project has been published in National Geographic. And it was quite interesting. I have not here, I show you in the phone, it's quite, I don't think it's the best thing, but to get an idea, for example, this is a butterfly, you see? So it's like more like a still life, there's this one. The concept is the same, but you see it's more like an object that and a draw, okay? So after that, I have applied to plankton, and now I'm also working with the first flapping of the wings of birds, filming in super slow motion. For that, I work with entomologists that catch the birds with nets to make a study, and they put a ring. So they don't catch it for me. They catch because they are making a study. I go with them, and when they release it, I film the first 2 seconds, and it will be the next one that it's almost done. Okay. So this is pretty much what I wish to explain you. And now, if somebody have questions.
What you were just showing us on your phone is very colorful.
Yeah.
Compared to
other things. Many people are shocked about that. For me, it was a relief. No, not a relief. So the reason there are some black and white is because I'm dark. I don't like colors. Colors, it's a layer of information. At sometimes give you information. I forgot to explain this picture. And sometimes distract you. In this case, imagine this is grass that is green. These different houses are from different colors. It will be blue. For me, the important is this shape, a wave inside a wave, this minimalistic landscape. This is a remote island in Scotland. I don't say that most of the pictures are taken in Catalonia because I realize I don't need to travel a lot. We have many type of birds like here, and also I became father when I begin the project, so I need to adjust my reality what I have, no? So I was talking the color. So yes, and in this case, for me the important is the shape, not the color, no? But in the case of the insects, the color are really representing what is the richness of these insects. Also, sometimes you can see the shine of the bird and the volume, no? Yeah, this one is the only one that it's not a free bird. One day, a friend sent me a video of a truck. Suddenly released from the truck hundreds of pigeons. It was like mind-blowing, and I begin to research what it is, and I realized that there is like a hobby that people breed a special type of pigeons that know how to return. It's the same pigeons, it's the racing pigeons that for many years it was the way to send messages. So the way it works, so it not works with regular pigeons. There are pigeons that have been selected genetically for years. So they breathe, and in the trainings, they release every time longer and longer and longer, so they learn how to come back. And it's nothing that I'm not super that use animals to a hobby, but I'm not taking part in nothing. I'm just filming this because what for me is interesting is the behavior and the skills that have pigeons. Pigeons are one of the animals fascinating for many reasons. And recently have discovered not only pigeons, but some species of birds could see the magnetic pole. So what is happening here is the track, it's below, it's just here, and after being released, because there are also a chapter of the book only about this, after being released, they need to make some loops to know where the north is, so they could fly away. So this is the exact moment when they are saying, okay, let's go there. And well, for me, this part of the project was something different. So for me, it's important also not to get bored or be excited in find new ways. For example, this one, it's the opposite of the rest of the project because it's an awful place. For example, the rest of the McDonald's menu here, somebody have changed the wheel here. They find for places that there are not buildings or trees around, so they could release safely the pigeons. And there are the small trainings, and also there are the international competitions. Here, there are like 8 tracks when there are 7,000 pigeons. Every pigeon costs more than $100 or $200, and that one that wins have sold for more than almost 2 million, because they sell the chicks, because the important is the genetics. So this is the moment. It's a few ones that there are a person on that, because it was few seconds, and people are still taking pictures or watching the release of the pigeons. Yeah.
As I look at these, I'm interested in how much time passes.
Yeah.
Between these.
So good question.
One like that over in the corner.
Exactly. The thing is, the time changed, so it's not a constant. Sometimes, if it's a seagull crossing, are 5 seconds. Sometimes maybe there are 2 minutes. Honestly, I don't remember. It's always like more or less. But here, maybe there are 10 seconds. Maybe there are 5 seconds. Because I have more than here. So I record maybe, I don't know, 20 seconds. And part of my work is choose the most interesting part. Always in a row. I don't make like tricks that take one part and another and together. It needs to be in a row. But if I show all the footage that I have, it will be a black or blue picture. And sometimes there are too much. So yeah, it's part of my work, and it's one of the reasons that this project takes a lot of time of post-production, because every clip is heavy, there are several gigas, but apart from that, I need to see which is the most interesting part. Yeah. Something else?
Are there any specific...
Well, later, yeah.
Are there any specific migrations that you wish to go see somewhere in the world?
Well, I used to have a wish list with here was one of the first, yeah. And then, for example, the big migrations, now I'm more interested in big things. And for example, what's the name? In I don't know, what's this say? There are a place in Mexico when all the raptors from North America, another bottleneck, concentrate that it get all the sky plenty of raptors and it could be nice. Also in India there are the Amur falcon in a valley. There are thousands of them, and it's nice history because at the beginning they hunt them, and thanks to BirdLife International there are programs that they are not hunting anymore and it's more focused to tourism. Also I love the breeding colonies in the North Atlantic when the pigeon with the puffins and guillemets and nesting in the cliffs. And I have a meeting with one of the guys that have been traveling around the world and have seen more species. And sometimes for them it's difficult to tell me what it works for me, because, for example, many type of nice birds that are in the forest doesn't work because of that. There are many information. But there are, it's called, I don't know, it's like a puffin but really small. And they do like murmurations when in the cliffs, when a big eagle, it's called pigargo, it's like the bald eagle but bigger, comes, and they synchronize the days that they are breeding to minimize the attacks of this, thanks to this dance. So this dance is not to confuse the eagle, it's to synchronize their body to that, and it's amazing. But the problem, it's in a remote island in Russia, and you can only go with Russian scientific. So now it's impossible, obviously, yeah. Maybe also these lorikeets of Australia, they're really colorful and make also flights. Sorry.
Curious if you've been able to get any images of species, and also when your insects project will be available.
Yeah, well, the insects project for the moment it's only, maybe you have not seen from here, but it's like in a studio, not in. These are interesting, especially when they draw this map, no, to communicate with another. In fact, I have been in touch with the BBC when they do the documentary for that. He asked me how to do it and that. Yeah, so it could be a possibility, and also this cloud of mosquitoes or. But for that, I need this special camera. So I didn't tell that this last project I have done because a brand of camera let me try for months this very expensive camera. So my project is connected to the evolution of the technology and the availability of that, no? Because maybe 10 or 15 years ago it was not possible to do that with an affordable cameras. No? At the beginning, I rent the cameras in the weekends, but before that, it was even not possible to rent. No, it will cost thousands of dollars per day. It was happened with this super slow motion camera that costs like $2,000 per day. No, yeah, it's always annoying that the limitation of the creativity for the technology. No, now it's happened me with the Swift because they go inside the chimney when it's really dark, and also it's. The most lighting part of the sky, it's behind. Well, I'm trying to go to the roof, but it's not easy. If somebody has some contacts with the city hall or the... Yeah.
Can you talk about post-production?
Yeah.
How much time it takes, let's say this picture. How much time you put into that one image?
It's slow. So the thing is, it's not really slow when you know the exact seconds you want and the image that you want. So all the processes are slow. But to take one picture, it's really difficult because first I do in low resolution, so it's small. When I know that I want this clip from the second 5 to 30, then I process. Now I'm applying this algorithm with video software. Now I'm using DaVinci to do that. Okay, but I have changed many times because I maybe have used 8 or 10 different cameras doing this project. No? And so then I do in high resolution. It depends on the computer. If it's fast, maybe it's 5-10 minutes. If it's slow, it's half an hour. Do a little color correction, export. Then I open in Photoshop. I do the color grading. I export, I apply software to increase the resolution because thanks to my knowledge of post-production, I could do these big prints because obviously a video camera have not this resolution. And for me, I could do this one because of that, because if not, it will not look like this, because you need to push without looking fake, no? The resolution, and it's always this challenge that I never have enough resolution to do that. And sometimes it's possible to improve the image, and sometimes no. And I have no answer how long, but there are many steps and sometimes I don't do the same step the same day. Sometimes until after 1 or 2 months is when I do the color grading. I let the picture rest some days or week. I come back to the picture, maybe and make another adjustment. Then I print it. I stitch it in the wall for some weeks, and I decide it's the final color or not. I try to keep the color real, but it's difficult to be real. But when you shoot in RAW format in cinema, it's almost black and white because it's so flat. And it's not in camera. In the camera, it's more close to the reality. So you have to remember how it looks like that and try to adjust it. Yeah. And always there are a range of freedom for the creativity. But obviously, if the sky is orange, I don't put in blue. Or, yeah.
Do ornithologists study your work to learn about bird behavior? Do the bird specialists, are they learning things from your photographs about birds?
One of the most beautiful things that happened to this project is very different people from different backgrounds have been in touch with me. And now I know that this project has been shown in the School of Architecture, Mathematics, Physics, and maybe the team that are more interested is there are one scientist called Biomimic that study the solution have found nature to problems and to apply it in science and technology. Maybe this is the people that are more interested. About the behavior, the only team that asked me to tell how I do it, to do that, is the people that are studying the swift behavior. Because it's really difficult to see the moment that they catch the flight, or how many turns, or how close is the turns that they do. But the rest is nothing that you could not see with binoculars and have been studied for a long time. Yep.
You ever photographed bats, or are they too similar?
Yeah, the problem with bats, I try it, but I really not succeed because they fly low, fast, and in the night. So it's terrible because as closer that is the bird, the relative speed is higher. So it looks like this, that I don't like, but it could be a possibility. But I always tried with this camera that I have, but too much thing. So maybe in the future, or with lights, I don't know. Yeah, but it's quite challenging. So probably there are this type of the fruit bats that also flying during the day, but the bats that we have in Europe are quite nocturnal, and small and fast. Yeah, maybe here in Texas, they have this bridge, could be interesting. Also, here I have not used the screen. I forget to tell that also because I have this video footage. Sometimes I recycle or reuse this video to create short films. So I apply this to in animated way. So if you go to my website, you can see there the films. Some are from this project. So you could see, for example, there one of the only about the murmuration. It's called murmuration, where you could see how. Well, this in movement. So if you have time, you remember. Anything else?
Where did you take your first photo, and what type of bird was it?
Well, my first, it was a test from my balcony in Barcelona, and it was a swift because it was spring. And then, I'm not sure if it's here. No, it's not here because it was really low resolution. This is the first test that the photo is terrible, but I remember 1 or 2 months later, because at the beginning I don't take it really seriously, I did a trip with a group of ornithologists that we take a boat in Catalonia and we go inside to see marine birds. When we come back, I make a record, just a seagull following the boat. And weeks later, I remember that I have that footage, and I take it and I apply the technique, and then I see this, the sea like blue, the sky blue, and suddenly this wave. And then is when I realized that I found the project that I have been working for 10 years. I have been looking for an idea for 10 years. So it was this. So for me, the wow moment was not in when I have the idea, when I succeed with the first test, because the first images were ugly. But when I see this, that is when I realized that I found the project that I have been looking for. Yeah.
Any more questions? Great questions. Well, thank you, Xavi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.